I have to definitely tell this story about Blue Dawn this past time. So it's in the midst of a sectional track meet. So we got David Coleman has qualified for sectionals, Antoine Williams qualified for sectionals, Will Smith qualified for sectionals. So me, I'm like, hey man, y'all need to get your rest. Don't show up to Coach Foreman has told y'all to show up for your track team to get ready to go to sectionals. Right. Coach, my phone rings like that night like 8:30.
Mamas.
What you talking about? Don't show up. We ain't soft. Oh, they da. We don't do that. You in Camden. Bro, I'm like, listen, I'm just trying to save the kids' legs. They can sleep on the bus.
Welcome to the Wildcat Show with Travis Roland, the Wildcats, the Camden County Wildcat football coach. And this show is brought to you by Bennett Automotive. Without Bennett Automotive, this show wouldn't even be going on. We like to thank Bennett Automotive for all of this. But Coach,
what's going on? Been a while.
It's been a long while, man. It's probably been about 8 months since we've been here. And you finished 7-4 last year. We finished up. We moved on from that. How did your guys attack this winter?
Oh, we took a whole new approach, man. You know, obviously getting here, when we got here, you know, we had to kind of accept things as they were. I feel like we collaboratively worked together. Myself, Coach Mays, Coach Lester Davis, we developed a very good weight room routine. We lifted 4 times a week, only rested once, and even in that day of rest was more so for academics during football class. And you know, I call it hibernation mode. You know, it was important to me, especially leaving North Cobb game feeling like they were just more girthy than we were. We wanted to put on some more weight, and so that was kind of the biggest goal, is getting stronger, doing some more press in our lifts. And so we adjusted, and I felt like, you know, we've done a good job of that. I think a lot of people, like the hard hat guys, when they first came out in the spring, were like, man, we look a lot bigger. And I feel like we are moving bigger and moving stronger. So, you know, we gained, as a total program, we gained 15 pounds. That's including your kids that were 130, 140. So as a full average, we gained a full 15 pounds in total program. So, you know, very, very excited about that, because we know it means we've gotten thicker to be able to withstand some of the stuff that we're going to see throughout the year.
I saw some records. I seen some dudes doing some stuff. Like what kind of records did we have?
So you had Keandre Walker. The squat record is funny, man. It was up. When I got here, that squat record was there for, I think, like 18, 19 years, something like that. And then Anthony Green finally broke it after a practice last year around this time. And then we came back to acclimation week this year, and Keandre Walker hit this, I think it's 645 or 650 for one rep. And, you know, man, for everything that kid's been through, losing his mom, things like that, it was a big, huge accomplishment for him.
Who lost his mom?
Keandre Walker.
Wow. So, and Anthony Green lost his dad.
Wow. To that. So just those things those kids have gone through, you know, I feel like that's them, you know, getting the weight of the world off their shoulders a little bit, you know, proverbially. And they did a great job, man. And so if you watched the video, I think now, last time I looked was at 92,000 views. So, you know, he's all over the place with people seeing it. And, you know, he's doing a great job moving people and putting on for the season.
But he had a knee injury.
Yeah, he battled a knee injury last year, you know, had to get some things in order, which is why he, you know, kind of didn't make his way to varsity, you know, as a sophomore last year. But he's ready to go now, and has proven himself to be a good football player.
Man, okay, so we transitioned from the winter into the spring.
Right.
We brought in some new coaches and some new players. Who are some of the new coaches you brought in?
So we brought in Ben DeBastiani. He came from South Gwinnett as the offensive line coach there. So we brought him here to work with our offensive line as well. He's the son of a ball coach. His dad is now at Central Michigan as a linebacker coach. The dad has been at Florida. Ben is GA'd a few different spots. Central Michigan, one of them, and then I think he coached his alma mater, Shepherd. So he's had some good experience as a ball coach, and he did a great job at South Gwinnett. They had one of the better O-lines up there in Gwinnett County last year. Right. And he thankful to the wife. His wife was looking to get back to a city like Camden.
Yeah, he told me.
It helped us out that she wanted to be in a place like this. And he's a great ball coach, man, super knowledgeable of what we're trying to do. So we added him, Jeffrey Smurf Harris, a defensive coach from Mainland High School where I came from. He's been with me ever since I've been a head coach. He's always been my JV head coach, and so he's going to take over that role now. You know, we made some adjustments with how we handle handle JV. JV has their own staff that they have every week. And I know it's been done differently before, but I just feel like they need to either hear the same voices all the time. Right. And so Jeff does a great job for me with the young guys, and he makes them understand their role in the program is pivotal, and especially in a place like this where, you know, we're not like Florida where it's that freedom of movement and we're out here isolated, you know, way south. So we have to develop our guys, and I think he's going to do a good job. And then coming to help him is a young man named Tristan Wallace. Coach T. Wall is going to be the assistant DB coach, but the more important role that he's going to play for us is he's going to take over the academic coordinator for the program for Coach Hobbs, to free Coach Hobbs up from that to handle some other things on the football side. So Coach Tristan Wallace will take over.
So how important is that JV? What does JV actually mean to our program?
That's everything, because that's where a young guy learns how to win, right? You know, if you're in this program where people, you know, you guys play 4 total years, and sometimes it's hard for a younger guy to get on the field at times. That JV time is for you to show us, right? Okay, if you go and dominate JV, then you're gonna open our eyes and say, you know what, maybe we need to get this kid a shot in one of these varsity football games, and it's important too. You learn how to win down there. Like, you gotta learn how to win.
I'm glad you said that, because I think some of the kids even listen to the show, and listening to the show, you have to understand how important the JV is. Yep. I can remember in, I don't know what year, 2000, whatever, Brandon West had never started a game for Camden County. We got to the Dome because he played so good in JV and worked so hard. He started in the Dome game, the semifinal game of the you know, the highest classification. So that JV is very important. Okay, now we transition from there to players. Did we have any new players that came in?
So we had, obviously, Will Jackson, you know, took some headlines. He came in as a quarterback for us, big time player, you know, kid that wanted to be coached, you know, and wanted to be in a part of a program like this. And, you know, glad they chose us. You know, I got to tell people all the time, like, that kid drove past Orlando, right? You know, past Volusia County, past St. John's, you know, all the different places where he could have stopped. And so I think it speaks volumes to the quality of Camden, and then the quality of coaches that we do have. And then we got a young man who's, I think it's his uncles that played here from Glenn Academy.
Big Red.
Big Harris Bloom.
Yes, sir.
Big offensive lineman. You know, he joined us, and so we've had some guys that moved in. You know, and then some guys that are coming back to the program. You know, Shamar Gibbs is back in the fold. You know, his brother played here as a great player. So we're glad to just be able to keep our kids and our families. You know, because we lost some kids who have gone other places just because for whatever reason. Right. You know, and then Trent Hamilton played wide receiver for us. His mom and dad are both graduates of Camden, and so he came over to us. And so we're glad that we're putting that family and that for Camden is a thing that some of the older families are really clinging to and taking a hold to. So we're glad that they want to be a part of Camden County High School.
Okay, and all that bringing in new faces and new places. The spring game. How did that come out for you? How did you?
I thought it went well, man. You know, we were in the midst of a quarterback competition at the time. I thought Parks did a phenomenal job. You know, he showed immense control of the offense. He played amazingly well. I thought Will played well in the game, and then, you know, the offense, you know, played well. And what's crazy is the offense, I thought, kind of whooped the deep. No, I'm saying us. I'm not partial, guys. I promise. My whistles are the same in practice. I thought the offense kind of whooped the defense a little bit during spring, and then in the spring game, the defense kind of showed up and stood up, and so it was good to see some back and forth in the spring game. And the best part of the spring game was we got out healthy in that part of it. But I thought the kids played well and put on a pretty good show and showed the potential that was there. You know, we obviously potential you have to work on to make it be, you know, true talent. But I thought that the spring game went really well. The kids played hard and did a good job. You know, nothing looked egregious and crazy and bad. I thought we put a good product out there, and so we just want to continue to build on that as we head into the summer. But I thought for the most part we did a really good job in the spring game.
Yeah, because we've been gone so long, I wanted to crunch some of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we go to the summer and the summer camps and the 7-on-7 and all the work they've done all summer. Tell me this, okay, for your team, is it mandatory or is it voluntary during that time? Because I've never really asked that question for someone. I mean, You know,
So in Florida, the rule book says that you can't have mandatory workouts. Now, as a principal I worked for, Dr. Sarah Slono once said when a parent came in about summer workouts, she said, well, if we were in the band and I was first chair and you were second chair, if I didn't go to practice and work on practicing my saxophone, but you went every day, who's going to naturally be the better player of the saxophone?
Right.
And so she was like, while yes, it's voluntary, you know, if you don't show up, you aren't getting any better.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the rule book may say, but the GHS say handbook, but I mean, it's as mandatory as it could possibly be.
Right.
I don't know how you can even possibly think you can get better at anything without
my
practice.
reason for asking is if it is voluntary, all these guys showed up.
Oh yeah,
that shows a lot because at some programs,
it don't happen. Oh yeah, absolutely.
At
you
some programs, they ain't coming to like school stuff, or they might come sparingly. Yeah. But these kids was showing up day after day after.
Oh man, you have to even back up to Blue Dawn. Like I laugh every time we have Blue Dawn because you're talking about walking out to a field at 5:45 in the morning.
Yeah, I only made one this year. I only made one.
And there's 200 kids out there ready to go. And then sometimes you having to run off middle school kids who can't be there yet by virtue of the rules in the handbook. So it blows my mind that the kids in this community are that kind of football hungry and want to say I made it through a Blue Dawn. So
and the parents,
and the parents because
the buses, so they get them out.
Yeah, the buses don't run that early. So definitely during Blue Dawn, man, the parents make a commitment. I have to definitely tell this story about Blue Dawn this past time. So it's in the midst of a sectional track meet. So we got David Coleman has qualified for sectionals, Antoine Williams qualified for sectionals, Will Smith qualified for sectionals. So I'm like, hey man, y'all need to get your rest. Don't show up to Coach Foreman has told y'all to show up for your track team to get ready to go to sectionals. Right. Coach, my phone rings like that night at like 8:30.
Mamas.
What you talking about? Don't show up. We ain't soft. Oh, they da. We don't do that. You in Camden. Bro, I'm like, listen, I'm just trying to save the kids' legs. They can sleep on the bus. Click. And coach, 5:50 that morning, I walk out there, get ready to blow the whistle, and all three of them were there, present, ready to go. So, it's an amazing thing that these kids show up. And I say, if a kid doesn't show up, 9 times out of 10, there'll be some prior communication of what's going on. If it's vacation, if it's doctor's appointment, whatever it may be, if a kid is sick, they do a pretty good job of communicating.
You talked about the weight gain, but what was the I heard the quarterback club put some stuff together.
Yeah.
What did they actually?
So I guess protein had kind of gone away for a little bit, and Coach Matt Mays again, thinking about ways we can continue to improve our team.
Right.
He asked, could we get it back, and he put a presentation together during one of our meetings during the quarterback club meeting, and they approved it. And I mean, literally, we had guys during the season gain 5 or 10 pounds when we first started, and then now, we have guys that like Sean Green, he's thickened up. People, a lot of guys that have known him all his life, are shocked to see how thick the chest is growing out a little bit.
He needed it,
right? Because the kind of player he's gonna be and where he's gonna go to college, he needs to go ready to go. So guys like Antoine, those guys they keep weight on. That's what the protein has done. So like we said, we're thankful for our quarterback club for working with us to make sure our guys, get the meals they got to get to be able to replace stuff once they do it. So, so we got some guys on 2 a day, some guys on 3 a day, like Judah Dickerson went from 225 to 255.
Wow.
He gained a lot of weight to be one of our starting offensive linemen. So we've had some guys that have really put on some pounds, like Xavier Brown is now full 215 to 218 on any given day. Kingston Melton is over 200 pounds. Will Smith's up to 195. So we've been able to put some weight on these guys.
And then the linebackers.
Yeah, and then the linebackers to be able to, withstand again a full game of banging. We got to have that girth and that, that fuel to keep going.
Tell me this: do you think how many 7-on-7 and big men camps did you have?
So we were supposed to go to UCF. They had construction, so we ended up going to Florida State. We took about a group of like 55 kids, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and then the skill guys. We had some guys do a really good job. Some guys get pulled to the side from the coaches at Florida State. So especially the big guys, they did a phenomenal job. And then, Xavier Brown was worked out privately after the camp. He did a great job. Sean Green, same thing. We were on one of the main fields where the camera was at. So I told the guys, this is what happens when when one, you play for Camden County High School, and two, you have some guys on your team that are ball players.
Right.
And everybody everybody now gets that same exposure. So, you know, made it to the quarterfinals at Florida State. Then the next week, we took the skilled kids, went to UF because UF didn't have a big man camp. So the big guys stayed here and lifted, but they then came and joined us to cheer us on. We finished in the Elite Eight. Yep, finished in the Elite Eight at UF, and then we drove from Gainesville to Tampa to go to South Florida. And then again, our guys, the big guys, did a great job at the South Florida camp, and then we finished in the top 10 at University of South Florida. We actually only lost one game, but because of the weather, they cut it down to 8 teams. How they did it. So we lost one game and we didn't get to make the bracket. That's a whole other situation. Coach Golis, remember now, we got to take care of us next time.
So tell me this, seriously, all of that, did we get better?
We did, and I think we got better in the most important department for me is the camaraderie piece. Because in this generation, it's so much about me. Like, it's me. Okay, am I getting mine? And I think those trips make us bond together, talk, because you on a bus together. You know, the big guys sometimes think 7-on-7 is just run around and have fun until they see how many games, how much running, like those guys are grinding. Those guys aren't out just playing catch. And I think in the same token, you know, the skilled kids get to go in there and see those big guys put forth effort. That was one of the best parts. Everywhere we went, we were able to finish, and like some group was able to watch the other group, so and see each other. But we got better, man. I think we found out what we were deficient at, and we found out what we were efficient at. And so those are big parts for us, because we, you know, again, we obviously been battling trying to find the corner opposite of DC all this time. So we had to figure that out. We had to figure out who's going to play next to Will Johnson, and was Will better as a nickel? Was he better as a high safety? Like, what was the best mix and match? You know, is Sean Green better in slot? Is he better out wide? You know, where does Trent fit in the offense at? Where does Sean Stevens? So like Elijah Rose, all these different guys, you know, then working in the backs. So it allowed us to figure out who works where and what combinations go the best.
That's good. That's good. So, okay, we finished that up. We then we headed to the summer, and going through the summer and going to this preseason game against a team that's
loaded.
Benedict team. They had a wide receiver committed to
Notre Dame.
Okay.
Quarterback, Texas Tech.
Defensive tackle.
Clemson.
Defensive end is the number one
player in the country.
That's my guy.
Get $3, please.
I told this guy when he was in the 8th grade that he was going to be the number one guy in the country, and he definitely is. I mean,
look at play.
Look at Coach.
He's beautiful.
Oh, Coach, look.
When they draw edge, when that position edge,
look like he should be already go.
I told the coach at the sideline. It was during the game. I was like I was talking to Coach Griff. I said, Griff, he need to just reclassify and just go ahead and go, because he wasted time. Just go ahead and go so he can do his 3 years in college and get on out, because he's that kid's gonna be, you know, good luck to everybody that has to block him, because
last year they had a kid that went off to Miami.
Scroggins.
And offensive lineman that went off to Auburn. Now these guys were loaded and coming in. I'm gonna be honest with my perspective is, I thought that, you know, because their system been in place so long. Their system been in place so long. Our system been in place 2 years. If we had a good showing, it would be great. I love that we played them early in the preseason, because you find out. Yeah, and if it goes back, we could go back and we could get something done.
Absolutely.
But it's a little different.
Yeah, it was a good game. You know, we're trying to change the attitude. I said on the radio last week, I said, we have to get back as a community to where it's not who we play, it's you're playing Camden. And I feel like sometimes our kids hear too much, oh, y'all got this person this week, this team that week. Like, at some point we gotta get back to, man, you gotta play Camden. You know what I mean? And I know, you know, that comes with winning and losing and all that, but we are Camden. And I tell the kids, man, it's a big game because we in it.
Coach, I love that, because earlier today, my producer told me, said we probably need to don't have targets on our back. But listen,
that's not a target, though. That's for our own, because we can't be like we because the kids, you know, when this generation is different.
Target.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, you got to play them anyway.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna have to.
You have to play them anyway. So a target was a target.
But you're not calling anybody out. What I'm saying is, this generation of kid where like
they
somebody
worry about
that's
somebody.
that's 35 and up, we thrived off of hearing that my guy that played running back for the other team we finna play is a baller. Now sometimes things have changed because of social media. Nobody wants to get put on social media on a highlight tape or mixtape, as they say. Like nobody, and so that those nerves kick in, and then we don't play with as much freedom as we're supposed to. So I just try to tell our guys, like, man, you're just as good as the guy, and if you think that and say you are, here's your opportunity to show it. Right, and so if you're an offensive lineman and you're playing the game against Benedictine, you should be beyond ecstatic because you can say to a coach, "Hey, coach, he's going to Clemson or he's going to Texas Tech. Right. Look at what I did, coach. This receiver's going to Notre Dame. Look how I did against him." And because they're gonna look anyways, like Coach Albert told the boys. Okay, you think you good? Them coaches gonna watch this game.
They're gonna be on film.
And if Bubba Frazier put it on you, they're gonna say, "Well, you really couldn't play it this." And so that's where being in our region and being in this classification of 6A, you will have ample opportunity to show against the people that we play that you're capable, because everybody that we play, between Brunswick and then our region, a lot of our region games, and even like West Broward last year had the big receiver that went to Miami. Like, you had opportunity to show, that you're worthy of the scholarships that you want. So
we definitely had a different fight than we had last year. We definitely had.
We worked on that mentality hard,
but also you got to get a coach. You got to get the coaches some credit because I'm talking about last year. You got to give you some credit for just getting it together with the time that you had. Now you don't get you don't get that this year. You got a whole year,
absolutely
all that. So, but it was a different fight. The kids came out and fight, and they played a good game. Yeah. I think they played a good game. Penalties.
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of those.
Nope, coach. We paying for that now. It's you get a.
We had a lot of them one time.
You get a post whistle penalty, coach. You paying for that? Like,
we had a lot of them things,
coach. I tell everybody, like, if we sit down and watch any of those outside of the lounge games,
you're undisciplined.
You watch any of our region games, coach. And even North Cobb, the 7-0 with a minute 30 seconds ago, we have 30 yards in penalties, coach, in that drive to make it 14-0. So it's one thing if someone runs you over, they outrun you, they moss you. But when we aid and abet them because of our own situation, because of penalties, we just can't do it. And I think we harped on it enough. We worked off of the number 6 because in the North Cobb game we had 6 pre-snap penalties. We had another 4 post whistle penalties, and that's 10 that we can control, right? And so we just want that. That's been a big focus for us is just making sure we don't get pre-snap and post-whistle penalties. And I think when you do those things, holding's gonna happen. Pass interference is gonna happen.
But that's within the game.
Yeah, but it's the late stuff or the false starting, you control that. And so it's not tolerated. We had to take a different approach. I've taken a different approach. I had to be me, and do it the way I know how to do it.
Right.
It's working in the sense of our mindset.
Now we had a good game, but it like 2 kids just stood out to me. And when I say stand out, not because exactly what they did, is their ages and 2 10th graders.
Oh, okay.
Demetrius Coleman.
Demi.
I'm looking out there, and I see my guy out there starting at safety. And I'm like, what is he doing out there?
Yeah.
But his communication skills, for me, was it. I'm seeing him from sideline to sideline making sure they got the call. Like, you heard me? I'm listening to him on the which is impressive to me for a 10th grader. I think he has a bright future, and it's him and then Jacavius Perkins. And he didn't even play with
Perk 30.
Right, but he didn't even play with the varsity, and he didn't even really do anything that was big. But the feet I saw feet and I saw vision. Even in 2-yard runs and some explosiveness. I just think those 2 kids, and I'm not saying anybody else
didn't.
I'm just talking about for
what
me.
You saw.
Yeah, what I saw. And I just want to hear about those 2 guys' growth from 9th grade to 10th. They 10th graders now.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And I'm thinking that, I know one gonna produce because he out there already.
He's already out there.
Yeah. And then the other one potential to produce for the next 3 years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is
so Demi, his thing kind of started last year. He was playing both ways on freshman football, and we got to see those guys, especially when they were at home. And he made plays then, and graduation, hit us kind of hard.
What's his confidence level?
Who, Demi? Oh man, Demi think he can do anything. Demi say he better than DC.
Yes, sir.
Let him tell it. As he always said, I don't think DC can outdo him with us. He's stronger than him. That's it. He always want to grab me, coach.
Yes,
so Demi is full of confidence, man. And I give a lot of credit to our coaches this offseason. They preached elite communication.
Right.
And when you're a young guy, anybody that you can. As I talk about it, you can imagine yourself if you played as a sophomore, like you had to do. You want to do everything coach said to do, and I think Demi, while confident, still wants to listen to what coach says do and still wants to learn, and so he's bought into that. And again, it's like on the job. If you communicate the right way on the job, you get the right kind of results. And so
skills.
Yep, and his ball skills. Now he DC, I love you, but Demi is a ball hawk. Now he is not looking for knockdowns.
No,
he's definitely trying. He led us in interceptions this summer in the 7-on-7. Yeah, he had the most picks out of everybody.
I want to give a shout out. They daddy.
Yeah,
ball. He was a baller.
Okay.
DB. He was a baller. Now the mama was a baller.
She was a baller.
She was a baller. Attitude, everything.
She talked lots of trash to me all the time.
Baller. Yeah. But as far as defensive back, where them boys get that skill from, they daddy was a baller.
So Demi's full of confidence, man, and he's playing well. The last piece to his game will be just continue to get bigger, because as we play good running backs and thick running backs, that's going to always be an issue when you're a sophomore.
Because he caught one.
He got
right in the chest.
Yes, sir.
But he got in front of him.
He
could have stepped.
Yeah,
he could have stepped
right
to
in
the
front.
side, but he didn't step from the side. He stepped right in front.
You'll never have to question Demi's heart, Demi's desire, his want to. It's always going to be there. And then, man, like I said, Perk 30, as they call him. Perk.
They call him Perk 30.
Yeah, they call him Perk 30, man. Perk is, it's crazy because I remember we ran buck sweep. It was one game, freshman game. I think they might have called buck sweep 8 straight plays, and he just ran. He was dog type. He just kept running and would come out. And we get to spring football, and and Twan was still running track, so Twan had to miss, had to sit a couple practices because you don't want him to hurt. You want him to be able to finish his deal in track. And Perk is just out there running it. I mean, one of the things we say, run the Nike check out that football, man, and it looks like watching a running back in the late 90s, early 90s in I formation. He get it, and he just so patient and has that, that wiggle you can't teach. And he does a great job with being patient. And when he sees it, he goes, man. So Perk he's got a bright future. And he's pushing them older guys. Those older guys know, with the way Coach Reed coaches them, if they make a mistake, they know Perk and Adrian Vigil and Jess Newsom, all those guys are just chomping at the bit to get those reps. So I'm excited for the future of that room.
You might not be old enough to remember this guy, but Wendell Tyler. Go back and watch him.
Okay.
Wendell Tyler. He reminds me of Wendell Tyler.
Okay.
Wendell Tyler had a fumbling problem. Hopefully he don't have that. But he reminds me of Wendell Tyler. Now, I was just thinking, the play of the game. What you thought was the play of the game?
The play of the game,
Yeah.
The play of the game was because we had to battle from 14-0. We again showed tremendous fight in the game. We had to punt, man, and Guyton, the one player in the country, is and it's our punter's Michael Conley's first ever football game.
Oh yeah, he got outside.
So
he got it off.
He head fakes him.
Yeah.
Gets outside. Everybody's screaming, run. I said, this man is it's like that big human is trying to hit me. I'm gonna punt this ball.
Yes.
And he actually pinned him down back inside the 5, I think.
Yeah.
And that was the play of the game. Because they blocked that ball. It's a disaster. Game over. Curtains. Here we go again. And that kid made that play, and it kind of jump started us playing even better.
Well, for me, Guyton is involved in this play too. Had Twan at the 4-yard line.
Oh yeah,
carried
him.
Yeah, and man. Twan carried him in the end zone.
Pound for pound strong. Because I tell you about, he's pound for pound strongest kid in all of Georgia. Coach.
That was impressive.
Oh, Coach, listen, he carried 2 of them in there. They did a good job of watching film. We got into a basic set we always get into, and they loaded up the entire side. Yes. And he, Guyton, he forced the football, bounced off, because that kid's motor is insane. So he forced the football, got off that, and and tried to grab and wrap Twan up.
Man, he was how does dude?
Yeah.
No, he was dying.
Twan is different, man.
Toted him in.
I tell the line all the time. If y'all take care of the first level,
he could get. they ain't gonna want to touch him in the second.
People don't want none of that
They
with Twan.
definitely don't
Just
want
take
that.
care of the
They
first
definitely
level
don't
guys.
want
Let Twan and Drew do their work, and it's hard to tackle those guys. And man, Twan definitely, I said, Twan, I wish you would get up and flex and do something. He just throw the ball to the ref, and Jacques felt like, man, you supposed to get up and be do some Hulk Hogan or something, man. So, but I'm glad though, the fight, and those are the kind of runs that gets everybody excited, get the crowd going, because those are inspiring plays that people want to see. Because Camden want to see you play hard.
Right.
As long as you play hard, you play fast, Camden folks they're gonna be with you. That's what they want to see you do.
So we finished that game 14-14, 14-20 or whatever, but 14-14 with the varsity part. And now we're done with all preseason, all summer, all fall, stuff. Now we going to Brunswick week. This Brunswick week. Now we lost to Brunswick
previous 2 years.
2 years in a row.
22-23.
And then last year we got them. This rivalry is something different. When somebody borders you, that's a big rivalry.
Yep.
And so we playing the Brunswick Pirates on Friday night. What that mean? What does that mean? First game of the season, second season.
I told you, it's battle for 95, man. You know what I mean? You got grandparents who live in Woodbine and live up north, and they share.
Big headed people from right here. They should be over here.
You got church folks that share stuff. When our coach went to the bank at Ferdinand, he met. It was one of Hezzy's church members that was like, "Yeah, we coming. Whole church coming to the game." I'm like, tell them all to come on. Let's have the greatest atmosphere ever. But man, it's everything. It's the way you want to start your year off. You don't ever want to lose to your rival, because you got to sit. When you lose to him, you got to sit over 365. I mean, I know when I first got, that's all people kept asking. It was like, we gonna beat Brunswick.
I told
we gonna beat Brunswick. Like that's the one. And so it's gonna be a game where they're gonna be excited. We're gonna be excited.
Yes.
They gonna play hard. We're gonna play hard. And I would prefer not to have as many fireworks and all that. But in a game like this, you're gonna have them, and we just gotta, like I tell the kids all the time, in these kind of games, you gotta weather the storm in the first quarter, and when all the adrenaline wears off, begin to play good discipline football.
Are we still shooting the cannon? Because that's their thing. Pirates shoot cannons, we shooting cannons, and everybody shooting
we did shoot the little cannon last year. I don't even know, man.
We been shooting the cannon.
I walked into the cannon. I just had to get used to it, because you didn't think about it. Make you want to run a little bit.
It'll scare you. So Brunswick, the preview of Brunswick, man, we got offensively. They have one of the biggest tight ends that you ever gonna see.
Ever. Yes, sir.
Big heads.
Yes, sir.
Big heads. Then you have a speedy receiver on the outside. Wasim is nice. He's fast kid. I think he is a 2027, right?
Yep. He's only
2027 guy. Then you got the quarterback. He's back.
Grant.
Yeah.
Second, he's our best going to become. He's a 3-year starter essentially.
And they keep by 8 running backs.
And they keep running backs. I tell everybody, like everybody told me South Georgia was like Rock'em Sock'em Robots football, and then we got there with Brunswick last year. I said, wait a minute, this is like South Florida football, because they are running.
They running.
So
and the head coach is an offensive line, former offensive line guy. So
that's a great job.
He's gonna have his offensive line ready to go.
So 10-5 are the running backs this year, and both. I made the joke earlier this week that I said, but I almost turned Coach Ed for playing a player that was too old, because Heck last year, he was blazing fast, and you look at the wear film, you're like, wait, now number 10 look an awful lot like Heck running that
same
ball.
guy,
look like the same person, but obviously it's not him. But I was just like, man, they got another one, and then 5 comes in and does his thing, and then obviously, like I said, Grant Moore's quarterback. It's going to be loud, and it's going to be a big game, a great atmosphere. But he's been in so many big games over the course of the last 3 years. It's going to be difficult. You have to pick him off probably to take some confidence or rattle him a little bit. And then Hezzy is Hezzy, man. You have to do your best to cover him and limit to what you got to control where you allow him to get the ball.
And then they put him in the backfield.
Coach, they rerun a jet sweep, man. Like 280-pound man covered a jet sweep. But but it's you watch play basketball, you see how athletic the kid is.
Right.
There's not really anything he can't do on a football field or a basketball court. So just got to be prepared to. And then you can't let they can move him around, and you can't get so locked in on him. Like the Benedictine ran a great play thanks to a penalty, but they ran a great play where they sent a guy in motion, and all of us got locked in, and they come back across with something. So we got to make sure we don't lose track of where we're supposed to be following him. They do a great job, man. They got a lot of vertical choice stuff that Coach Heupel does at Tennessee, and so we got to be prepared to handle that. And it's going to be a good game. They're explosive.
And defensively, I know they have a Addison coming back, defensive back. Then the rest of the guys are kind of young. they had a lot of seniors left last
They
year.
graduated, I think, 9 or 10 starters.
I want to give a shout out to the defensive coordinator. I don't know if he's back healthy.
Yeah, I think he just got back. You know, pray. I text Coach as soon as that happened to tell him we were praying for them, man. To definitely glad Coach is back.
I knew him when he was in Savannah.
Okay.
And now he's in Brunswick, and he does a good job with their defense, and so. I mean, what you?
Well, they always attacking. You know,
the game plan?
They're the 3-4. They always attacking. You know, we got to have our eyes up at all times.
Right.
You know, we obviously gonna aim to be physical from the beginning. You know, I know everybody wasn't sure when we got here and we said we were going to this spread RPO. You know, I always say it's power RPO because we're gonna still pull, we're gonna still run counter, we're gonna still do certain things to assert our physicalness. And so,
what would you like the offense to be as far as what do you think? Your offensive coordinator, Mr. Offer,
man,
what would he like? What would he like that offense to be like?
You know,
what you think? Maybe 60-40?
He loves balance, man. You know, I think last year we ended up 58% run. Which, you know, people wouldn't have known, but we ended up 58% run, and, you know, had Hardy played every game, he would have been over 1,000 yards. He'd have been 1,000 yard back.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the biggest things. Just, you know, we want to have balance. We're going to take what the defense gives us. If they invite us to run it, we got to be able to run the football. If they invite us to throw it, we got to be able to throw the football. So it's going to be about taking what they give you and not trying to create. And when I say not create, but not trying to force shot plays. If they're created and they're there, take them. If not, take what defense give you and play the next play.
But I'm glad you mentioned Hardy and his injuries because that's the next thing I want to come because we finna, you know, let's preview the Wildcats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, we got some
Everybody's seeing them now. Unfortunately, you know, we got Captain America. You know, our Mr. Everything, Parks Randall.
Right. And what role is he gonna play?
Swiss Army knife, man. You know, and we you know, Lowndes kind of did it last year when Johnson moved in to play quarterback, and what is it? Mavis Parrish was the quarterback. He started. Parrish played wide receiver, running back, H-back, played some everything, and that's kind of the role Parks played for us. I told you a couple of times before, you know, how much of a mismatch he was when linebackers were trying to guard him. You know, you don't realize, like his dad even told me, like, man, sometimes playing quarterback you lose your athleticism because everybody put you in a bubble. Don't touch him, don't run, don't do this, and so you saw all of his athleticism coming out with how well. I didn't know he could move that well. I didn't know his hands were that soft. Like, so in losing him, because also too, the smartest guy on the field is most of the time the quarterback. So we would have ended up with 2 quarterbacks on the field at the same time.
Right.
And so that would have been huge for us and just being able to go fast and go with our tempo. So, you know, we probably got about another 3 weeks without him. So, you know, we got to stay the course, you know, because he's our leader, man. You know, he was one of our 2 named captains, so we got to make sure we continue to do a good job without him. And then, you know, obviously everybody sees big fella who's become a fan favorite with everybody that comes to practice, Spencer Starnes.
Right.
You know, he's got a little foot thing going on too that we'll get him back eventually. You know, he's one of our starting offensive linemen. So
how long is he?
Say they about the same timetable. They're both about, you know, 3 weeks to 4 weeks, and both of them are going to be finishing up week 2. So, you know, we'll get them back before region play, which is obviously most important as we go. You know, you want. Obviously, every game is important, the one that's in front of you, but the ones that, you know, in this current playoff structure that's not seeded 1 through 32, that's just finishing top 4 in your region, we'll get those guys back before we start to get to those games. So that's one good, you know, comforting thing about it.
Okay.
But we're going to miss them because both of them are vocal leaders, and they lead by example as well.
Okay, now let's talk about some of your players on Friday night.
Yeah,
it's going to be
absolutely
intricate part of your team.
Yeah.
Who you got?
I mean, I'm always starting them trenches. You know, I love the big guys, them skilled guys. I like y'all, but the big boys I love. You know, Chunky, which is Jacarius Hosendorf, Daquan Edwards, and then Ryder Wheeler. Man,
they got after it.
Those 3 got after it last Friday, and if they get after it like that, you know, we can be young in the secondary or whatever. Though when the defensive line's getting after it, you okay. You know, making the quarterback get off the spot. He can't throw with timing, and I think those 3 are gonna be important to us. And then anytime we're blitzing Will Smith is blitzing, we got a shot. You know, Will Smith is, I mean, he ran 10,900 meters this year.
Yeah.
You know, the kid is unbelievably athletic. One of the most athletic kids in the program. So playing linebacker for us. So those guys
Yeah,
up
your
front.
three linebackers.
Yep.
Who your three
Will
linebackers?
Smith, Kingston Melton, and then Mr. Georgia State.
Kingston was like shot out of a
Oh yeah, man. He you know, King is probably, you know, guys, I say Will is crazy athletic. Kingston may be one of the best football players we have just because he has a good feel for the game. You know, he'll cut an angle in a heartbeat and you holding your breath like you can't do that. But then he'll get there and make the play like, let's go.
Yeah.
So he's one of those no, yes type of guys.
Right.
And then Xavier Brown has grown so much from last year to this year with his vocal leadership, with his mental toughness. You know, he's committed to Georgia State right now. I think if he continues to play, Georgia State gonna struggle to hold on to a player like that.
We sure hope so.
Yeah,
I mean, I ain't saying nothing bad about them, but I mean, in his future.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because you always want to go as big as you can. I think as he continues to ball out, and
but you also want to go where you're gonna play.
Where you want it and where you're gonna play.
Where
yes, sir.
Play.
Especially in this climate, because you know
you can always
you can always move now. College, they gonna take you anyway.
Go get on the field.
Yeah, go get on the field so they can see it. So you know, excited about that. And you know, obviously DC is gonna hold it down. Him and Will Johnson are the two experienced guys in the secondary for us.
So who's well, we talked about Demetrius and who's on the opposite corner.
Right now that we've been between Josh Dickerson, Sean Stevens, Michael Jones have been battling three guys, and then it's
Michael Jones is what number?
He's 27.
Okay.
Michael Jones is 27. So he got out there a little bit. Sean Stevens is number 7, who also plays receiver. And then Josh Dickerson back out there. You know, he's a legacy kid. And then the other safety is Malik Patterson. Malik is a former quarterback when he was a freshman, and then moved to DB last year, and then stepped into a role now and is playing, you know, great
number
football.
14?
Number 14, yep.
Okay.
So he's playing well for us. And on the opposite side, you know, everything, you can't do anything. It's like Pop Warner football. You can't do nothing out of guys up front.
Right.
If those guys don't play, it don't matter who you got on the edge, who you got throwing the football, running the football, you got to get it out of those guys.
Now, out of those 5 starters on, excluding
Stars.
How many of them are seniors?
0. Well, Big Country, Trenton, who started at center last year, who battles back and forth with, because we wrote
right.
So we only have one senior out of the 6 guys that'll play a lot of meaningful snaps.
We got 3 capable centers though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, I love that.
So
I love having
three different guys that can snap a ball. If you know, if something happens, which you don't have often. Sometimes you get one guy that can snap, and then if something happens, you're like, oh my God,
trouble.
Who going back here? We ain't practiced it. So you know, all 3 of those guys get snaps every day, and we move them up and down. Starnes he has slid, you know, from all 5 of the spots. A couple guys, you know, tough. So you know, we're excited about it. You know, that while young, we're bigger, you know what I mean? Like I weighed them in the other day, and we had some heavy kids, you know, 291, 286, 332, 323, 265. So, you know, we got some girth, and we just gotta, you know, play with good pass. It's like it's no different. Like I told a youth coach the other day, like football don't change from when they're kids. It's all pad level and get off. You know, if you have good pad level and get off the ball, we'd be good to go. And like I say, you know, that's what's going to be unique about this year. What I want to see is as we evolve as an offense, you know, and people deal with what we're doing, you know, do they give us the light box and dare us to run it? Or do they load the box and say, y'all got to beat us throwing the football? You know, we want your other receivers, you know, because DC plays every snap now. You know, he don't lead the field. You know, yes, I'm not against it. I promise to God. I know a lot of people approach me like, Coach, when we win, we play our best player both ways. I promise y'all.
He gonna play.
I want them to do it. You know what I mean? So, like, you know, David's going to play every snap of the game.
But this is what I do know. David knows the offense a lot better and the defense a lot better this year. And so you trust him enough to be out there the whole time.
Absolutely. He's dedicated himself so that won't hamstring.
So your receivers, you got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So who are some of your receivers?
So you know, you have Sean Green, you have DC. Jerry Bass is back. You know, he's that slot, sure-handed guy for us. Mm-hmm. Trent Hamilton is a take the top off type of kid. He can catch a screen. He had a couple now screens that he had. I think Trent had like 4 or 5 balls that he caught. Then you have Sean Stevens. He's a post guy. You know, a couple of hard hat crew guys kept asking last year why he wasn't playing. You know, he had to wait his turn in a sense because of when he got back to Camden. And then you have Elijah Rose, a kid that, again, another sure-handed kid. So we've got some kids that all fill different kind of roles that we're excited about. You know, the things they're going to be able to do for us is just going to be about our continuity and being on time, staying ahead of schedule, not getting behind the sticks, because I don't care who you are, how much talent you got. If you get into a have to throw it situation, you know, people can call defense for when you throw it. So, you know, we just kind of, you know, got to stay on schedule with what we do.
Running back room.
Oh, man, crowded. You know, Antoine Williams, Drew Daly back. And like I said, then you got the young guy, you know, Perk, pushing for playing time. You got Jesse Newsom and Adrian Vigil pushing every day for playing time. So the running back room is crowded, you know, and that's the competition's greatest thing you can have, because a starter, right, like Antoine, knows there's guys behind him that are capable because he watches them. And so he's got to work really, really hard to keep himself in the position to be the starter. So
if you talked a little earlier about Gibbs, if he's
I forgot all about that.
When is he gonna play?
So Gibbs he's that gadget kind of guy, you know, running back, slot, wide out, corner. Like he's gonna be a great athlete for us, you know, once we get him out there in the field.
Okay.
Yep.
Now I don't want to forget about the special team players.
Yeah,
we don't talk about the special team enough. So your special team guys, who you got your kickers?
So Michael Conley's our punter right now. We have Christian Phillips as a snapper and John Nason as a snapper. We, you know, one of them short snaps, one of them does the long snaps. And then kicking for us, we have Jacob Vermillier and Mr. Tabor. Those two guys, you know, Tabor is coming to us from soccer as the goalie. And so we're excited about those guys. And we actually just had another kid that played soccer wanted to come out after he watched the game. And, you know, we try to make everybody feel a part of the program like you just did right now.
Right.
That's the same goal we have, because you know, one of our power axioms that we talk about before the game is win the battle of the kicking game. It's 1/3 of the game, you know, and so that way you win 1/3 of the game right there. You give yourself a great chance to go out there and do some good things. We blocked a punt to give ourselves, you know, good field position against Benedictine. You know, going back to the Brunswick game last year, our punt return team flipped that game along with kick return. So those are things that we want to make sure that we continue to harp on and be explosive and special on special teams.
That's good. Well, I think we covered everything tonight.
Been a good one.
We covered everything tonight, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next week.
Look, back and I'm better than ever. Whoa. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I get